I'm going to look into my crystal ball, or in this case my rose quartz sphere, to predict what's coming down the pipe for the year 2021 in fountain pens. What makes me more qualified than you to predict what's coming down in 2021? Well, nothing. I just happen to have a microphone and a camera. So I encourage you to let me know in the comments whether or not you agree, disagree, or any new things that you think will be coming in 2021. So here's my lists of wishes and predictions for 2021. One bit of wishful thinking is that Lamy will decide that they're going to treat their Lamy 2000s like their Lamy Safaris. And next month we'll get a Lamy 2000 in petrol. And then after that we'll get one in dark lilac. And then after that we'll get one in mango. Okay, let's get seriously frivolous. We're going to talk about sparkly ink. This bottle of cloudy looking water is Tono & Lim's Shimmer Liquid SL3 Super Violet. There's several places online that you can get shimmer powder that you can add to your ink to make your ink shimmery. But this one is in liquid form, and that's an important distinction. With powder, you can add as much shimmer as you want. I guess there's a point where it just becomes too thick, but you can add a lot of shimmer. But with this liquid, you can only add so much because it starts to desaturate the ink. Inks in Japan kind of go two ways. One is for fountain pens and one is for glass pens. For glass pens, my prediction is the shimmer will get crazier. I think with glass pens in the equation, ink will just in general get crazier. But inks that are popular in Japan for fountain pens tend to be a little less bright. When you lay down some shimmery ink, you're not going to get like that tinfoil look. It's a little more where you have to move the paper around to be able to see the shimmer. Since there is a plethora of shimmery inks in the West, I think they might start taking a little bit of a cue from that and maybe toning things down where you get not quite like a shimmer ink, but maybe just a glowing ink or something like that. When you add this shimmer liquid to another ink, it slightly desaturates it depending on how much you use and kind of gives the ink a pearlescent shimmer. Here you can see it looks kind of milky with a little bit of violet in it. And here it is in the sunlight. You can see that kind of pearlescent look with a little bit of violet in it. So my prediction for 2021 on shimmery inks is that glass pen ink gets crazier, and then some Western inks might start getting a little more luminescent or pearlescent in their shimmer. While we're on the topic of sparkly, let's talk about sparkly pens. Last year I thought we were done with sparkly pens, but I was absolutely wrong. We're not done with sparkly pens. Not done at all. But I think we'll see some adjustments. I think we'll see some things like this pen here, the Shizuoka Cha pen, where the sparkle is kind of toned down a little bit. And I think we'll also see where just parts of the pen are sparkly. And you see that with a lot of special edition pens in Rodin, where you just see just a little bit of Rodin, like maybe on the finial or something. And I think we'll get some different kinds of sparkly. And when I say sparkly, I mean things that are shiny or bright. And here in the Shiyun, it has that kind of sparkly effect, but it's not sparkly because of glitter. So in that same vein, I think like the Venus belt fits right in there. And I think the TWSBI VAX 700R Iris also fits in there. It has that kind of shiny look, and also what I was talking about earlier, that only pieces of it, if this whole pen was this kind of multicolored look, it would be ugly, but just pieces of it made it really nice. And then as pushback to all that sparkly, I think we'll see more stealth pens. This one is an oldie but goodie. It's an Edison Beaumont Stealth. According to the latest Goulet video, This year, one of their top-selling pens was the Sailor Wicked Witch of the West, which is a dark, dusky, dark purple pen with dark gray trim. It was a kind of purple stealth pen. This is an Iboya Hoga, and it's a black and dark navy blue swirled ebonite pen, and it fits in nicely with that whole stealth motif. I think stealth pens will even be appealing to people who like sparkly pens, because you kind of need to cleanse your palette a little bit to get your sparkly back on. So my prediction is modified sparkly and some pushback with stealth. Now for chromo shading inks, or inks that shade in a different color, they're going to go gangbusters this year. Why do I say that? Well, I posted a video about Sailor HaHa back last January, and now it's getting increasing attention. I think people are finally kind of getting used to that kind of ink and finding different ways to use it. This picture and the picture before it is from the IG account Amransfidel. And she's using the chromo shading ink from Ink Institute called Cat at Midnight. Her artwork with this ink is just stunning. So I think artists are discovering different ways to use this kind of ink. As an aside, she also paints these patterns on bottles, and I'll leave her IG down in a pinned comment. Here's some more chromo shading ink from the same company, Fan Tan Studio, and this one is from the account of Lin Yuan. Her Instagram account is a beautiful example of the celebration of ink. It's mostly ink swatches and ink and very little about the pens themselves. So 2021, big on chromo shading. Paper will be increasingly important and talked about this year. The evidence is the intense discussions that went around the old and new Tomoe River paper, and the Tokyo International Pen Show was very paper heavy. I think Yamamoto Paper with their paper sampler really got people interested. All kinds of new companies got into the game. Here's Tassia of Tassia Ink and their beautiful journals that match their ink bottles. It's smooth and fountain pen friendly. It would appeal to people who like Rhodia, and it's nice to have an A5 journal that's kind of flashy like that. Touch and Flow has come out with a couple of interesting journals. They're under the whole family of companies of Design Fill. Design Fill also makes the Plotter schedules, Traveler's Company products, and Midori paper. Both Design Fill and Touch and Flow is kind of a lifestyle company where they sell stationery items but also little things to put in your kitchen and knickknacks. This journal's pretty cool because it's this green colored paper. I'm not sure why it's green, but it writes very smoothly, but yet has a little bit of feedback. It's interesting that a company like Touch and Flow, which is all about style, would put out such a cool journal with such fountain pen friendly paper. If you watched my stationery video, you'd know that Kamiterier put out all kinds of interesting paper this year. A lot of it could be sampled by this mini 5-hole ring binder paper. Like this one here is a kind of vellum with pictures of cats on it, and it's fountain pen friendly. Vellum, and in particular vellum with patterns on it, is many times very difficult to write with a fountain pen on it. This isn't bleed through, it's actually the writing showing through because it's a kind of clear paper. They also had a mini sampler with bank paper, Spicabond, Tomoe River, and something called COC. Also had this really cool paper that was kind of plasticky, but yet it had beautiful pictures of the galaxy or the night sky, and then you could write on it, and it worked great with fountain pens. A company named Deep Aqua also made paper to fit these mini 5 notebooks. This one here is a pattern that's exactly like the Tono and Limbs boxes. that kind of mad scientist laboratory. This one has a fountain pen on it, and so does this one. This one has a cat on it, and these are also fountain pen friendly that they're left out by the ink testing table at Okamotoya. These companies make paper specifically for ink lovers. This ink card has a hedgehog, and this one has some crystals on it. This bookmark is a way to carry around your ink swatches in your book. To lift the clear part on the back side, you can put a swipe of ink or 3 different swipes of ink, and then they'll show up when you put the bookmark together. These ink cards are called the dancing octopus, and you can kind of get the octopus to dance. Here I'm using the ink puddles, one with Suruga Bay ink in it, and the other one with the Tono and Lims Super Violet Shimmering Liquid. I increasingly use more of the Super Violet Shimmering Liquid and did a quick swipe with a letter opener. Here it is dry, and as you tilt the paper you can see some of that pearlescence. And this is on Grafilo paper. All these paper products I've picked up in the last couple of months of 2020, and I think it's just going to continue that way into 2021. Different companies trying different papers, or at least giving you different kinds of options for designs. I'll take a quick ad break, and when we come back, more colorful pens. The next trend that will continue to be strong in 2021 is what I call color blocking. These beautiful pens are from the Instagram account Vicky. What I mean by color blocking is the pen is not all the same color. The finial, caps, and bodies of the pen may be different colors or different degrees of translucence. This pen has what I would say minimal color blocking, as only the end cap and the finial are a different color. It's made by Bungukan Kobayashi, and they tend to be trendsetters here in Japan. This pen also has minimal color blocking with a lighter blue end cap and finial. This picture and the next one is taken by the glamour pen photographer Fudifan. This pen, called the Reiwa 2, picks up more color blocking, as both the cap, the finials, and the body are different colors. And this pen has what I would say is maximal color blocking, as not only is the finial, the cap, and the body different colors, they're not colors in the same family. This pen is the Kingdom Note Genji series Ukibune Yadoriki, or otherwise known as the watermelon pen, and it belongs to my pen friend Dan. The Shizuoka Cha pen also has slight color blocking, and both the finials and the end cap have a different color. But this is color blocking with a story. Shizuoka Cha is the green part, the color of green tea, but these end pieces is the color of Suruga Bay on a starlit night. On this pen, the Moonlit Sakura, this blue part is the nighttime. The pink part is the sakura kind of glittering in the moon. And then the end cap and finial are kind of a cream or beige white, and that is supposed to be the color of the moon. So color blocking with a story is going to be a trend. And now you're thinking, well, that's just all marketing. And you're absolutely right. I like me some good marketing. This here is a box of blue-black ink. Plain old platinum blue-black ink. But notice the Mount Fuji on top. It was Platinum's 100th anniversary ink, and it contains 5% of natural water sourced from the bottom of Mount Fuji. And not only did I get myself some, I really enjoy the ink. As an extension of this color blocking, I think these ombre colors are also going to be popular in 2021. As I understand it, it's much more cheaper for a company to just change the colors on a pen instead of making a brand new pen or shape. So this is a great way to introduce a different design without costing a lot to the company. This ombre colored capless called the Wish was sold out in days. It's a beautiful pen, and all they did was just change the coloring, and yet it's incredibly popular. So I think we'll see more of these types of pens in 2021. And of course, this glamour picture was taken by Fudafan. This next pen trend, which will probably continue on into 2021, is happening here in Japan, and it is probably a result of the pandemic. It was first discussed in Fudafan's blog post called Pen Trends in 2020, and it's actually pretty big and affects a lot of people. This COVID-looking kind of pen arrangement is from a pen friend on Instagram. This is a map of Japan and the stationery stores that are kind of scattered all over the country. It's an incomplete list. There are many more. These are just the ones that did a collaboration with Himekuri. Most of these stores, you cannot order from them online. You need to actually go to the store itself to buy their products. They say the reason is so that you'll go out and visit that area and it will promote tourism in their local area. So many of these store special items were difficult for even Japanese people to get. If you didn't live near that stationery store, you'd have to make a special trip out there. But because of the slowdown in business because of the pandemic, many of these stores are now opening up their products online. So check out Fudafan's blog to see what stores are actually doing this and what proxy services you can use to order from these stores. Online shopping just got more dangerous. In 2021, we're going to have a proliferation of nib grinders, nib meisters, and nib specialists. Of course, we have the legends Bender, Madashaw, and Minuskin, and then Bacchus, Masuyama, and Smith. And we have the in-house nib specialists like Annabelle Hillard, Appleboom, and Dr. Audrey Madison from Franklin Christoph. And then our hobby started sprouting nib meisters like Ralph of Regalia Writing Labs and his stacked nibs. CY from here in Tokyo's specialty grind is Naginata Togi nibs. And Pen Realm makes the Secretary of Deflex, a very flexible steel nib. And Pen Sloth has a super stacked nib and also a nib that sports a sapphire. It's something that I need to get. Here's a super stacked nib that we call the Warthog, and it was made by the nibmeister Fudafan in his imagination. Palmer's Pens grinds nibs, and he's in high school. There's nothing like talking to someone about grinding nibs and then they say, I gotta go do my homework. All these different nib specialists and hopefully many more is what I'm looking forward to in 2021. More specialized and really cool looking nibs is something we're going to see more of in 2021. They'll have cool imprints and designs, or no designs at all. And last year, even the Platinum pen that was released in China, that was a step down from the Profante, had a decorated nib. These decorated nibs sell. I think people really want them. These next few nib glamour shots are from Fudafan. Don't these cool nibs make you like the pen even more? It's something that's skillfully used by Wagner. They sell the best nibs. I mean, a Galactic Empire nib. You gotta get that. So I predict 2021 is gonna hold a lot more cool looking nibs. This coming year, we're going to see a lot more out of Taiwan and a lot more cool stuff coming out of Taiwan. Lennon Toolbar ink is from Taiwan. iPaper ink is from Taiwan, and they're both very exciting and fun inks. There's the Standby TWSBI and Penlux and Opus 88. The stationery stores Sleet and Tools to Live By, and the pen store T.Y. Lee. And then there's a store and super online store, Just Spirit, I can spend hours on that website. And Ink Institute is putting out some really seriously cool inks. So I'm happily looking forward to the things that are coming out of Taiwan in 2021. So these are my predictions for this year. What do you think? Have I drank too much ink? Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, or if you have some other ideas of your own. If you found this video mildly informative or entertaining, please give me a like and a subscribe. And on an administrative note, no one claimed my stationery giveaway prize. So Brett Gilland, you were the next in line. Brett Gilland, please contact me on my Instagram messages or on the email listed on my About page.